In today's show, we're going to talk about Powerapps Teams integration. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how you can use Powerapps to do more with Teams. And we're going to do that by actually adding the Teams connector into an app and talk about how that works mechanically and help you get over some of the hurdles I had when I was learning to use them. And then we're going to jump over to Teams and we're going to embed a Powerapps and kind of see what it looks like to consume a Powerapps from inside of Teams. But first, here's our intro. Hi, my name is Shane Young with Powerapps 911, those guys. And today we're going to talk about Powerapps Teams integration. So I don't know about your business, but here at mine, I've realized that Teams has really become the center of our universe, right? A lot of the places that I've traditionally used email to manage things, we as a team have switched to using Teams. That sounds weird. But also we're starting to automate business processes. So like our inflow of customer requests come in via email, but now we have a flow that grabs those and puts them into Teams so where my team can actually respond to those in Teams where they work all day and have that then go back out to my customers via email, right? There's a lot of really interesting stuff that we're doing with the Teams today. So what I want to do in this video was kick off a series where we're going to do some exploration of Powerapps in Teams, and then we're going to do Power Automate in Teams. Then we're going to get into adaptive cards. There's a lot of really cool, complicated stuff I want to show you guys. But before I do that, I've got to do these intro videos. So today's just getting you comfortable, but don't worry, this isn't like a high level intro. You know, we're going to get into the nitty gritty, but we're going to do it from a Powerapps perspective this week. Teams and Power Automate is next week. All right. I don't know, I'm pretty excited about this. I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. So we'll switch over to my desktop and take a look. Here on my desktop, I thought we'd kind of demo what I was going to build in today's, or at least show you some of the pieces. So that way we kind of get going before we go and build all this. And so the thing I wanted to show you guys how to do was to work with the difference between teams and channels and messages. And so you can see over here, like I can choose, oh, I want to go into this team or this team. And so then when I choose a team, right, I see the channels. And so then I can be like, oh yeah, I want to go with the afternoon demo channel. And so when I go into a channel, then I can see the individual messages. And so the reason we're going to spend some time on that and explaining how all that works is because one of the challenges you'll have when using these actions is you have to be able to get the IDs. And so we're going to use the galleries to walk us through and easily help us understand how to get the IDs. And then once you understand how to get them, you don't need galleries anymore. You can just grab the ID and be like, cool, I got what I need. Now I know how to write that posting. So we're going to kind of go through and demo some of that. We're also going to post a message into Teams. We're going to app message a user because I think that's important to understand. It was a pain in my butt to figure out how to do it. So I'm going to show you guys how. We're going to create a channel, talk about security. Nothing too complicated there, but just kind of get you thinking there. And before we do that though, let's switch over to my Teams team and show you how this looks also where you can embed a Powerapps in your team. Okay, over here in the Teams client, one of the things I want to make sure you guys are aware is look up here at the top, expense report demo. This is actually one of my Powerapps, right? You can see Powerapps loading. And what we have done is we've embedded that in the Teams channel. This is back to that concept that my people really just work out of Teams all day. So like if we were to go here into our actual PA 911 team, there is a channel where we use and we have like do all the time reporting and things like that. There embedded is the timesheet app that we wrote in Powerapps that my employees use to book time. We also have in there a channel where we show a Power App to manage the help requests that come in. And as I told you before, the way that my users get notified, my employees, the people on my team, the way that they get notified is via a Teams bot. So the Teams bot posts to them and says, hey, you have a new ticket, here's your card. And they can just respond right there to the Teams bot and then it goes processed. So a lot of really neat stuff going on here. But I just want to make sure you guys knew that you could embed these in here. And so when you do this, it's as simple as you come up here and you can say add. And so if you have the Powerapps piece here, then go ahead. If you do not, you can just type in Powerapps and then you'll be able to add the Powerapps tool. And so then this is going to show me all of my existing apps. So I'm like, oh yeah, I want to add my advanced class distinct, whatever this was. So we say save. And so then now you can see, it's like, hey, it wants to use my location. Cool. And so then now we're into this app that we had used previously. So it shows up here at the top. You can see, I have the ability to remove it, rename it. My other ones are still up here as well. So this is the first piece of this. I just want to make sure you guys knew you can embed your Powerapps over here. The other thing to keep in mind is that Microsoft has kind of already told us that this is going to get better. The good news is with all these things getting better, all of this stuff I totally expect to continue to be the same. So don't feel like you have to like be like, oh, this is old. No, there'll be new things from here, but these same core concepts are still going to exist. So don't let these, the fact that they have some announcements, right? And here's the announcement. So it talked about introducing Project Oakdale. And so down in the description, I'll leave you guys links to these if you want to see them. This is the blog post where I talk about how they're going to completely revamp Power Apps and Teams. But keep in mind, this is not going to mean anything we're doing today isn't still applicable, right? And then if you check out this one, this is kind of Charles's high level overview. And then Mark gets nerdy with us here and talks really about the data models they're going to introduce. So not stuff for today because it's not public preview yet today, so we can't get at it. As soon as it shows up in public preview, I promise you we'll get some content on it though. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do. You can embed your Power Apps inside your Teams clients, and that way they show up. Secondly, now let's go back over here and let's build a little bit. And so we had the demo, but a pre-functioning demo is no fun. So let's just create ourselves a new screen. Woo woo. And so then here with our new screen, we're going to throw a gallery on here. And so with your gallery, what you're going to need is you're going to need to make sure that you've got the data source Microsoft Teams added. And if you don't have it already, you can just go up here, search for Teams, and then it's like, oh yeah, here it is. And then I can choose my connection to my Teams environment. So this is how I got Teams added as a connector. So then when you do that, Teams is not like SharePoint or CDS or SQL. It is not a table-based connector. Is a function one or an action-based connector. So what that means is if I go up here and start typing in, oh my goodness, I have to learn to type, Microsoft Teams. So then you do like that. It's like the Office 365. So then it's like, oh, here are all the different actions you can take. And so maybe the first one we want to do is we want to say get all teams. And so it's like, all right, it's just a function. So you just open and close it. Now, when you do this, though, you're going to get real frustrated, right? This is like part of that learning curve I wanted to help you guys through because it doesn't return anything. I have lots of teams. Why don't I see a bunch of records, even if they'd be blank here? The reason for that is because the way it returns its data set, you need to bolt a .value on the end. And so then that returns a table of data that is actually the teams that you want. Yay, there are my actual teams. So then now I can come down here and be like, all right, let's take this gallery. We'll expand this out for a second and be like, hey, I want you to be title, subtitle, and body. Sure. And so then now up here, you'd be like, hey, you show me it's a display name. So display name. And that's why this item's so great. Display name. And so then this one will make this one be the description, if there is one. And then this one is your ID. And this ID is important because you're going to need this as we kind of go through the process in a bit. But for right now, we kind of got that grab, so it looks good. I'm just kind of expand this, close. Okay, so then that's the list of all the teams in my environment. So then now to get the channels, it's very similar. So let's just copy this thing, paste it over. It's already kind of set up. Oh, Control C, Control V. There we go. Grab this thing, pull it over here. And so then now with this one, instead of get all teams, what we're going to do is get all, get channels. And so there, where are you, channels? All right, I'm going to start typing in channel. Get channels for group. And that nomenclature is a little confusing. But what it really means when it says group ID, I don't know why it says group ID, but it really means team ID. So what we can do is we can just say, give me gallery 1. Oh, it's not gallery 1 anymore. It's gallery, what is gallery 1? Gallery 1 dot selected dot ID. And so that's the ID of the one we chose over on the other side. This one also has that same goofiness around dot value. But so then now we should see, look at that, all of the channels. So like if we go over here and find my playing channel, we should see my normal channels of, so there we go, general, ask Shane to feed Chewy, afternoon demo, made with Power Apps. Perfect. So I got what I wanted. And notice here as well, right? We still have the ID going here. And that works for me because now let's make these a little smaller. Pull this over here, pull this over here. Oh, like so. And so then now if we add our third gallery, we'll paste this one in. And so what we can now do now that we have the team, the channel. Now we want to get messages for channel. And so then it needs both the group ID and the channel ID. Remember, group ID is a team ID, so that's the first gallery. So gallery1.selected.id. And then the channel ID is going to be that gallery1_1. Oh, not 1_1. .selected.id. And then now we should be able to close that. And so that should give us, oh, no, what do we got to do? I forget all the time, .value. And so then there comes our value. It pulls it in. It's like, hey, these aren't valid things. No big deal. So then now to see what are we actually posted about, we're going to go this item and then dot. And then somewhere down here, there's a body. Oh, body's got a red underline. If you hover, it's going to tell you, right? Hey, I expected a text value. Well, okay. Let's try a dot on the end of that. Ah, there we go. Body.content. Very cool. And then let's go down here and then we'll edit this one. And so we'll just do body.content type. And cool. So now if you look at that, you can be like, all right, well, that is up there. There is the message. Let's just change that to scroll so we can see what's in there. We'll just hit play. Added a new tab at the top of this channel. Oh yeah. Okay. So it gave me kind of all that, but it's in HTML, right? It's telling me that. So what you might want to do is instead of using a label here, let's just copy this out because I'm lazy. So Control C. I'm going to blow this away. And then I'm going to say, hey, give me the HTML text control. Oh, but not over there. Delete that. Over here, let's try that again. Text, HTML text. Pull this down here. We'll make it nice and big so we can see it. And so then here, this item.body content. Oh, look at that. And now they all become very readable because they are in an HTML format. And even the ones, I think there's some that are in text format down here, they show up just fine as well. So if you're going to be displaying any of these messages, you have to kind of do that. Now there's a warning up here. This thing's like, hey, I don't know where I go. That's fine. We'll just grab it. We'll move it a little bit. Now it's happy. But so that gave you a way to drill down from your team to your channel to your messages. Now, one of the things you might be wondering, or at least I was wondering, is like, well, how do I see the replies, right? Because if I was to show you my team set, let me open that up in Teams again real quick. Where are we at? We are in, we're just going to Ask Shane to feed Chewy. There we go. So we'll open up our teams again. And so general, Ask Shane to feed Chewy. So here you can see, which way they go? I think they go this way. Here we go. Flo, Chewy, the dog. No, Chewy just ate 5 minutes ago. Who knows what I was doing? It doesn't matter. But so if we look over here, yep. So that's that message. So what is annoying, I guess would be the way I'd put this, is that there is no way today to get the replies for messages. So you couldn't like completely rebuild the Teams client because I can't just have all of the pieces going on here at once, which is not ideal, but at the same time, you really shouldn't be trying to reinvent the wheel here. And the only reason we even did any of this is because the thing I need you guys to understand was how to get these IDs. Because what we're going to do next is we want to post a message. And so we're going to figure out how to post a message to a specific channel. And the reason I want to post a message is I've been thinking about this a lot, in a lot of my approval process today, I go in, you go in my Power App, you create the stuff, and then when you're done, you hit submit to get approval, and then we're sending off an email with a deep link, which is what we've done for a long time. But what did I just tell you? Most of my employees work inside a team. So why am I, for this one particular thing, sending them emails for them to ignore? So instead, what I want to be able to start doing, and now that I've figured this out, I can, is in my Power Apps, instead of sending emails all the time, I'm going to post messages. And to post these messages, I just need to learn a little bit. And that's what we just showed you. So now we understand all this. Let's make a new screen and let's post a message. So how about this? We'll just do a text input. So that way we can make the message dynamic. And then we'll just throw a button down here. And so in my text input here, you know what? But I don't really know if I want, we're not going to use a text input, right? Because Teams likes HTML. So let's do a rich text editor input. Why not? Let's make this fun. And I did not practice this part, so even more fun. So in here, what do we want to do? Well, we're going to type in Teams first. Microsoft Teams. Oh, I do not want to add a member to the team. But so when I was going through here, and this is literally how I learned these things, right? I just kind of press the button and go down, down, down. I'm like, oh, post message to channel, post message to channel V2. All right, well, that's the latest one. Meh. Microsoft, Microsoft, Microsoft. What I found out was a lot of the problems that I was having was because I wasn't on the latest post message to channel, which they have secretly hidden way, if we scroll way to the bottom, it took me a long time to find this, post message to channel V3 is just hidden at the bottom by itself. This is the one you want though. It has the most smarts. So now it's like, hey, all right, you want to post a message? I need your group ID. So there's two different ways I could go about getting this group ID. All right, we could go back over here and grab it from all of these. But honestly, like I know that I just want to post the same channel over and over again. So here's what I would do, right? I'd go play, and I'd be like, all right, I know it's in the playing one. And so now that I'm in play mode, I can highlight this and copy, right? That's important to remind yourself because I hate typing. So now that I copy that, I'll go over here and then I will, oh no, you know what? I'm gonna show you another trick. So I copied that one. And so then the other one, so then we're going to post into the, made this with Powerapps. And so to grab this one, I'm going to highlight all this text and I'm going to copy it also. So I have both pieces in my clipboard, right? I've been meaning to tell you guys about this for a while. So if we go over here, post message to channel V3. And so the group is the thing I copied 2 times ago. One of the neatest things I learned about in Windows 10, if I hold down the Windows key and press V, I get this little pop-up. This is my clipboard history. And you have to turn it on the first time to use it. And you just do that by hitting Windows V the first time. But now that it's on, look at this. Now that I have it sitting here, there's the group ID, right? That was the second thing. So I can paste that in. Oh, I forgot to put quotes around that. And so then there you go. And so then we'll put quotes and then we'll hit Windows V again. And then now I'll choose this one. And then we'll close the quotes. And so look at that. I did 2 copies and 2 pastes without having to go back and forth. Yay! That was probably worth the price of the video right there, especially since the video is free. But Windows V has changed my life. So start trying to get yourself used to using that. I do a lot of copy and pasting. Anyway, so now that we've got this hard-coded, that and that, so then now we need to send the body. So now I'm going to do a comma. And so for the body here, the first thing I always just do is I'm going, hey, body. Body is here, right? I would do something like that and then close this out. And oh, it yells at me. So what's it yelling about? The function has some invalid arguments, but it told me to put body there. Why doesn't it like my body? Maybe because I'm fat. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over here and I'm going to go back to this one and be like, hey, how did I do that last time? Oh, that's right. The body is not text. The body is a record. So let's copy this over and talk about it instead of me typing all this. So body, right, we're used to in emails, our body is text. Nope, here it's got to be a record. And that record, I don't know why they don't tell us this, but that record has, so it's in curly brackets, right? So you can kind of see we're going to work left to right here. So curly bracket, and then content, that is the actual body, the words. And the way that you can think about this, like if you're like, whoa, how do you even know that? Remember over here when we were showing off our messages, right? So if we choose this thing, remember this item.body.content. See, that was my key that this is a record. Oh, duh. And then we had up here at the top, oh, sorry. And then up here at the top, we had body.content type. So it was telling me. It was trying to help me. I just wasn't smart enough to be helped. So over here, so content. And so what we're going to do right now is we're just going to hard code this in here. And so we're just going to leave that, but that is just regular old HTML, right? A paragraph and an at in the middle. Wonder what that does. And then content type is HTML. All right, cool, cool. So let's press the button. Let's see what happens. All right, that did something. So we'll switch over here. And so then down, if we go into, which one do we do? We do afternoon demo. We did not, we made this with Powerapps. That's the one we did. There we go. Here we go, Flowy. And look, it tagged Chewy. It mentioned Chewy. That's important as well because I got really confused trying to mention Chewy in the beginning. until I realized that I was making it way too hard. It's super simple. Here we go, Flo, Chewy the dog. Yay! So then now that we're like, all right, I posted a basic message. And that's a reminder to you guys. You're going to message me. You're going to leave me comments like, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. Do a simple message first. Prove that a hard-coded message works. Then we can expand out the concept, right? So now that we understand this works to post to that channel, so then now maybe what we're going to do is let's just first replace the content, right? There's nothing stopping us from replacing it with the reg text editor. So then now if we go up here and then be like, we type this in Powerapps, and then, we can even, we'll make this a bold and we'll make this a pretty color. Where the color is at? Over here. Oh yeah, that looks real nice. No, it doesn't. Hit the button. That posted. And if we go over here, yay! We are posting into Teams, and it's posting as the person who presses the button. So you have to think about that. And one of the things that's important to note is this is posting as me. So if I share this app with Chewy or Daniel, then when Daniel presses the button, it would post as Daniel, right? It is posting as a person who is pressing the button in your Power App. Now, if you didn't want it to come from them, like approvals, you might want to come from something, a little more dedicated. One of the things that they have is this concept of Flowbot. And so we're going to cover that more in over when we talk about Flow. So next week's we'll talk about Flowbot, but that'll be the ability to then have these posts, instead of posting as the person is pressing it, it's going to post as the flow that we're going to talk about next week. So anyway, I want to make sure you understood that. But so then that's pretty fun, right? So we're able to post messages. And then if we wanted to tag Chewy, well, we could probably, tell our users to, get in here and like write some really complicated stuff. Maybe. I don't even know if they can do the HTML. I don't know. I wouldn't even try that, right? So what am I going to do? I want to let them tag a person. And so we'll do, we'll pull this down a little bit. We'll make a little drop down here. So text or input, drop down. And so then in my drop down list, I could just be like, hey, I want to do Office 365. Oh, I didn't add as a data source. Let's add that as a data source. All right, Office 365 users. We'll add that as a data source. There it is. And then now if I type in, there it is, users. And then we will search users V2. And I'm just going to take all of them, right? And I've got other videos that talk about if you have lots of users or any of that stuff. We're not going to get into that right now. I just want a list of my users. And so then, and then the value here for my search users, we're then going to, of course, do value as well. And so then now we will show their display name. And then now you can choose what user you'd want to mention. So it's just at Chewy, right? So there's Chewy. And so then now in here, I just be like, all right. So we'll take whatever text they did, and then we'll just ampersand, and then we'll just add some text. We'll make at, and then we will close that, and then we'll ampersand again, and then we'll take our drop down. So drop down one dot selected and dot mail is what we want. So that would get their mail, and then we'll do that and close our at like so. Oh, I forgot to open my parentheses. There you go. Or my quotes, those aren't parentheses, those are quotes. And so something like that. And so then now if I press the button, let's see what happens. We'll switch back over to our team and look at that. We added Chewy, right? So that's nice and powerful because this is showing your users selecting who they want to tag. But remember, you could look this up, right? So maybe when you submit an expense report, we look at the approver for the department, right? We use some of that more complex logic to go do a lookup to get this, or to, tag multiple people. It doesn't matter. What matters is that now you understand the syntax for tagging a person is, open an at and close an at, get their email address in the middle. You've added them, you've tagged them, added them. Sounds really weird. But that is how that works. Also over here on content type, we use HTML. I don't know why you would never not use HTML since you have to specify it anyway, but technically text works. There's probably some other ones that work, but in all the actual scenarios where I've done this, my content types have been HTML so far. So that has been how I did it. But hopefully that helps you guys, right? That should get you going, cool, I can post a message to Teams. Now over here, I also had another button around creating a channel. And so I don't know why you'd actually create a channel from Teams, but it's possible. I also figured out, you can set a user, so I could add Chewy or add someone, right? So if I wanted to go over here and let's say that we said, all right, I want to have a button that adds a user. And this is how I learn, right? I didn't get any training on this. I just kind of played. And so I'm like Microsoft Teams dot, and then look, add member to team. And it's like, all right, who do you want to, or what team do you want to do? So team, we have to think about. So we go back over here and we know that we got that earlier from this little ID here. So, which has already been copied. Oh, you know what? We'll just get it on my clipboard. Windows V, and it was that one. There you go. Oh, I forgot to put quotes around it. And so then that, and then if we do cat at, right, because Chewy's already a member, so cat at powerapps911.com. And so then if I show you over in Teams real quick, if we go to this team and say, hey, I want to add member. Oh, I was hoping that would show me. I mess up. Manage team. And so here we can see that right now Chewy is a member. And if we go over here and press this button, and then now we should be able to look right here and say manage team, members and guests. And look at that, Ferguson to Cat is there. Now let me show you a very silly nuance that I ran into. And so that is when you're over here. If you have a very keen eye, you might notice that this is capitalized differently. So weirdly enough, this capitalization is case sensitive. That was a really odd find for me. I got really angry for a couple minutes. And so, make sure that you're doing this, or more specifically, if you're adding, you're using like lookup up here, right, using our little Office user search. So that way, it's going to return the right capitalization of their email address. But with that, so now you've kind of seen, so we can create channels, we can change permissions, but really I think the big win here is going to be about two things. One is embedding Power Apps in your teams, because I think that's important because that's where your users want to be anyway, same way we embedded them in SharePoint. And then two is the ability to, instead of sending emails to people who don't want emails, post messages either to Teams channels to, where that needs to be logged, or what we'll start exploring later on is how to post those directly to users. So then that way we can, post them in into their inbox, right? Slide into their DMs type of thing, but with, expense approvals that need done. Weird, I know. Cool. Okay, so then, this was first part of the series. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to look a little bit at how Power Automate comes into play. So we're going to talk about some of the triggers. Two of my favorite are when a new message gets posted, how to react to that. And then the other one is going to be for a selected message. And I'm going to show you how to do some really neat stuff where a user can select a message inside of Teams and then action on it. And then from there, once we get that video out of the way, we're going to explore adaptive cards. And so adaptive cards, that's where you get those cards that pop up inside your messages and you're able to take advantage of them. Like here, let me show you an example real quick. We're not going to explain how it works, but I'm going to show you and kind of get you excited. So we go over here into my general. And so for any of these, I can be like, hey, for this message, so more actions. And so I have a flow right now called test of selected message. When you click it, look at this. You get an adaptive card that pops up, and please enter the amount of money you'd like to spend on Chewy. And we're going to enter an amount, and then we will say submit. And so then what should happen if it works? Yes. So spend whatever you want, though Chewy would appreciate you spend more than $1,000. So that's pretty fun stuff. But we got to learn some more basics before I can teach you how to do that. So stick with me. Hopefully I'll see you for next week's video. And, I'll put a link to that. It's on the screen once it exists. So, but it'll be a week from now. As always, if I can help you guys with any of your projects, powerapps911.com. Just fill out the contact form, or you can leave messages below. I respond to all my comments, though I am a little behind as usual. So with that, I'm going to say thanks and have a great day. Before you go, be sure to click on the subscribe button over here so that way you'll be notified when new videos come out. If you need any help or you want to work together, whether your problem is big or small, check us out at Powerapps 911. We do it all. I rhymed. Or if you're looking for more formal training offerings, we have those linked up here somewhere. So check them out. Thanks and have a great day.